So the next thing I'll do with the materials now, I'll just close the materials dialog box for the moment, is I'd like to also drop materials, translucent materials on these glass curtain wall faces here. So I can probably even just do them now at the moment. Go around and do the ones on the other side as well that are glass curtain walls. That'll be that one, and that one. Now, the problem is though, they're not completely translucent right through the whole building, and that's because when we modelled those particular walls, we actually modelled them as having an outside and an inside face and a thickness of 150 millimetres. I think at this stage, just to make it look translucent, we'll delete all of those back walls, and it's fairly easy to do. I'll show you how you can do that. If you triple clicked on that glass curtain wall, triple click again, so I've picked up the whole component at the moment. What I need to do is hold my shift key down and double click on the front face. The reason why, I'll just delete that now to make sure, and yes, I've kept that front face there now. Just to show you that again, triple click, then shift key and double click, and then delete. Press the delete on your keyboard. Do that to all the others. So it's triple click, shift key down, double click, and delete. Obviously that one didn't work. Triple click, shift key down, double click, and delete. Okay. Right. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in a new image, an image of the upper level office floor. And by the way, we can probably tidy up now these other construction lines. A couple of things, I'll tidy up that construction line, the 600 construction line, and probably should also then push-pull this wall. That I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to push-pull it out, but I don't want it to actually touch or intersect with the glass curtain wall. I just want to pull it back a little bit so there is some clearance to those two there like that. Okay, so next step is I'm going to bring a new image in. So, and the new image will be the image of the upper level office. So if you need to, you can open it up in a PDF viewer, open up the particular upper level office section and copy that image to your clipboard by pressing print screen, and then you can go to an image editor and make an image file of that and then paste it into this drawing. The way we'll do it, once you've got your image file, it's File, Import, and we'll be importing JPEG images, I think, or it might be a bitmap image, I think. I'm not too sure. Wait till I get there. Yes, I'm in the right folder. Not that one, that's the lower level one, so I'll change to bitmap, Windows bitmap, and factory floor, the upper office bitmap is the one that I've done. So if you've taken a copy of that from class, you already have a copy of that upper office bitmap. Otherwise, if you're doing this from home on YouTube without having a copy of that, you'll have to open up the handout sketch plan, go to that upper office plan, open it up and get it into the center of your screen, press print screen, that'll copy it to clipboard. You can then open up any image editor like Paint and you'll be able to paste it into a new image and make yourself a new image there. But I'll just open up that guy and I'll place it like we always do, somewhere out to the side just for now, and give it some sort of a size. We'll then have to scale it, so the same thing that we've done all the way along. You'll need to remember this dimension here, so it's the dimension we'll be measuring from will be from this grid line, this major grid line on the center of the factory floor, this grid line across to this grid line here, which is next to the director's office, and that dimension there is 18775. So you'll need to write that number down, 18775. Now what you want to do then is measure that distance on your plan that you've brought in. So it's from this grid line Y0 here, zoom in and get it pretty good, and then with a green rubber band come down and measure to the other side of the storage, which is in line with the director's office downstairs. So I'm zooming in enough to get it pretty good here, and I'm measuring something like about 28,650 will do me. So I write down the 28,650. Okay, so my image is measuring 28,650, yet I want it to only measure 18,775. So if I divide 18,775 by my measurement, I'll get a scale factor. So I'll just open up a calculator. Okay, and we've got 18,775 divided by 28,650. 28,650 equals. So I've got a scaling factor in my particular case of 0.6553. So I'm going to write that down, 0.6553. So in your particular case, you've got to measure your distance over here, and then you do 18,775 divided by your distance, and you'll have a scaling factor. So then when you've got the scaling factor, you just select the image, go to the scale tool, I'll find my scale tool here, there it is. So pick up your scale tool, and you have to select one of the diagonally opposite corners, and then you just move your mouse and then type your scale factor, which in my case was 0.6553, and press enter. That should be the right size now. So if I actually move that image into its right location, and I might do this in 2 stages, I might zoom in carefully. There's something very clear that we can see here. This grid line there from the outside, this grid line through here, I'll zoom right in on that particular point there, and I'll drop that. So that particular point would be this particular point here. So that seemed to work fairly well for me. I'm just looking at the other grid lines going back, and the grid lines on the plan look like they approximately line up with the grid lines on my image. So that's going to do the job fine. But that's down at the floor level. So while that's still activated, I now want to move that image upwards by 3300. So click somewhere outside in space, get blue axis happening, on blue axis, and then when you've got on blue axis happening, I want 3300. And I've now moved that image up to its correct location upstairs. I'm a little bit off along that side grid line there, but that's okay, we're only using it as a guide to trace off anyway. So we'll just leave that there now, but before we do, we probably should create a new layer for this image to sit on. So I'll open up the layer dialog box and add a new layer, and we'll call this one upper office image. My caps lock on again. Okay, so we've got the layer called upper office image created now, which means I should be able to select that image that we brought in, drop it down and change it to the I've lost it, upper office image I'm looking for there, so I must have pressed escape. Do that again. Okay. Press enter. Make sure I keep it before I close the dialog box down, and I should be able to change that to upper office image. So this is now on upper office image. I can turn it off or turn it on at will. Okay, so we'll just leave that there now, let you catch up to that point.